Good evening, everyone. It is November 29th, Wednesday, and we have severe weather to talk about in parts of the South, ongoing for tomorrow, and some much needed, very possibly very heavy rain across a lot of the drought stricken areas of the deep South. So let's get into that right now. But first, please click that thumbs up button, like this video, share with your friends and family, and comment where you're from. We'd love to hear from you. All right, as always, let's start out with the national hazards map. Let's go out west first. We have flood advisors out here across the northwestern parts of the United States. Up here in Washington, expected 3 to 5 inches of rain, uh, just just west of the Cascades here towards Seattle, and then up into the mountains here. We have winter storm watches on going up there. Possible, of course, feet of snow possible up that way. Winter weather advisories down here through Oregon, Idaho, down through Nevada here, Arizona, into the higher elevations here, including Flagstaff over to Alpine, and then up towards parts of New Mexico and southwestern parts of Colorado. And then get all the way down here towards southern parts of Georgia into Florida here. We have freeze warnings out for tonight. The rest of the nation is pretty quiet at the moment, but that is about to change. So let's look at the severe weather that's coming for tomorrow, and it could be possibly significant across parts of southeastern Texas into Louisiana. Alrighty, here's for the severe weather for tomorrow, Thursday, November 30th. We have enhanced risk for basically the woodlands in Texas, Conroe, Spring, Huntsville, Texas, just basically northwest and northeast of Houston, west of Lake Charles and Fort Polk, Louisiana. That's an enhanced risk right there. And then slight risk for Houston, Texas, Pasadena, Beaumont, College Station, over towards Baton Rouge. I'm sorry, not Baton Rouge, Lake Charles, Fort Polk. Those places there, slight risk of severe weather, and then marginal risk all the way up towards southern parts of Oklahoma, up towards McAllister, down towards Paris, Texas, Dallas, over to Shreveport, Texarkana, Waco, Austin, and down towards Lafayette. Now, what kind of risk are we looking at tomorrow? I do believe the biggest risk tomorrow is going to be tornadoes. Let's take a look at that. All right, tornado outlook for Thursday, November 30th. In the yellow, 10 to 14% probability of a tornado within 25 miles of any given point in that yellow area here. And then into the brown here, 5 to 9% probability of a tornado within 25 miles of any given point in the brown, including Houston over towards Lake Charles. So please stay weather aware tomorrow. And then on the outskirts of that in the green, 2 to 4% chance probability of a tornado within 25 miles of any given point. This gets up towards Waco, Austin, down towards Victoria, over towards Lafayette, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. This is going to be the main threat tomorrow is tornadoes. There is an outside chance of some large hail and some damaging straight line winds, but the main threat will be the possibility of tornadoes. All right, so once one of the ingredients here is moisture. So we have a lot of moisture coming up through the Gulf of Mexico into eastern parts of Texas, parts of Louisiana here. You see this huge, big dry punch of air coming across Texas. That's going to basically create kind of like a dry line scenario, just smashing up against this warm and moist air coming up. So here's the dew points. This is 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. We have 70s along the Gulf Coast here, mid to upper 60s through that enhanced risk area. So plenty of juice to work with here. And then with that dry punch of air coming in out of New Mexico, just blasting its way through parts of Texas, going to smash into this heat and humidity. That's going to spell trouble for parts of southeastern Texas in through Louisiana as we go into tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. Everywhere else is going to see pretty decent amount of rain. We'll look at that here in just a second. All right, let's take a look at some more ingredients here. We looked at the dew points, mid to upper 60s to 70s. dew points. So we have the moisture. Here's the Cape values. We have, pretty good Cape values across the southeastern or southern and southeastern parts of Texas. And then this will start going up towards Louisiana as we head into past the sunset tomorrow night. But this it'll die down the Cape wise. But like I said, will be a tornado threat with this. So here's a second ingredient here. We go over to significant tornado parameters. Like I said, all you need is one or two here, and this is basically 0.6 to kilometer shear here. So very good values here for a possibility of tornadoes across this area. All right, as we go out through the rest of tonight into Thursday, this is 11 p.m. There's some scattered showers around parts of southern Texas here. And then as we get through tomorrow around 7 a.m., you got to see lots of heavy rain starting to break out across Texas here, slowly getting into northeastern parts of Texas up into Arkansas. As usual, here is a timestamp over here. It's 7 o'clock Central Time. You can see the rain and possibly a few thunderstorms breaking out as we get into tomorrow morning. This is for your commute for tomorrow morning. Then, as we go throughout the day, you can see lots of rain, embedded thunderstorms developing basically across the eastern third of Texas here. And then as we get towards the afternoon hours, that's when these storms are really going to start blowing up across the southeastern parts of Texas and through eastern Texas tomorrow. All this up through Arkansas, especially mid or basically central northern Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma here will be a lot cooler. Basically, like a cold rain coming across parts of that area. Lots of rain down here in Louisiana where you need it, of course. And as we go through 2, 3 o'clock tomorrow night, big time storms across southeastern Texas tomorrow afternoon. That is lots of rain up here towards eastern Oklahoma, into parts of Arkansas, into Louisiana. We'll take a look at those rain totals here in just a second. So here we are, 5, 6 o'clock tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. These storms are really getting going across the eastern parts of Texas, in through parts of Louisiana. Lots of rain across southern Missouri, through Arkansas, and through Louisiana. Here comes that dry line basically through Dallas, through almost Houston now as we go through 7 o'clock. Lots of storms ahead of it. And as we go through 8, 9, 10 o'clock towards midnight tomorrow night, still a lot of rain ongoing across Missouri, in through parts of Arkansas, and then sometimes big storms could be possible across the central to south central parts of Louisiana as we go in through tomorrow night. And then that basically forms into a line and really kind of sits there for a little bit. And then we'll have another little impulse come in from the Gulf and really give and drive up some more rain across parts of Louisiana. Now, as we head towards Friday, you can see up here there's snow ongoing. So like I said, we're gonna have another. Here's the first little impulse that's coming through with a little bit of mix and snow up here towards Kansas, in through parts of northwestern parts of Missouri, far southern Iowa. And then as we get towards 7 a.m. on Friday, a little bit more heavier snow possible breaking out where the mix kind of changes over to snow. A little bit heavier banding could be possible across Friday early morning. Basically, just west of Burlington over towards Mount Pleasant, towards Fairfield is possible, up towards just south of Iowa City, maybe the Quad Cities as well. And this gets out of here. And then we have another little impulse that's coming through parts of Missouri into Kansas, into Iowa again late Friday into Friday night, and this could have a little burst of heavier snow for an hour or two across this area, coming across northern parts of Missouri, and then heading towards southeastern parts of Iowa, and then eventually into parts of Illinois as we go into Friday night into early Saturday morning. So, how much rainfall are we talking about here? So, let's take a look at. All right, precip. Basically, for the next 7 days, most of this will come uh, basically tomorrow through this weekend. Most of it tomorrow and into early Friday across Missouri, into parts of Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma. Basically, a quarter, three quarters of an inch up to an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches tops across parts of the Arkansas and the higher terrain up here towards the Boston Mountains. Then down here towards southwestern parts of Arkansas, southeastern Oklahoma, in through eastern parts of Texas, maybe a inch and a half, 2 inches to two and a half possible. And as you get towards central to southern parts of Louisiana, we're talking possibly 2 to 4 plus inches across that area, and then along the Gulf Coast, even into the Panhandle of Florida, up through Georgia, in through southeastern parts of Alabama, 2 to 4 plus inches is possible, maybe up to five over the next 7 days. Now, up towards the northwestern parts of the United States, Washington, Oregon, we're talking probably next 7 days. Some of those areas could see up to 5 to 7 inches of rain over the next 7 days up that way. Feet of snow is possible in the Cascades. And then just up towards the northeastern parts of the United States, just basically an inch, inch and a half of moisture up that way as well. Now, some of this up here towards southern Iowa into parts of Kansas here up in northern Missouri could come in the form of snow as we get into Friday night. So stay tuned on that. Maybe a dusting to maybe an inch or two possible in some of those heavier bands. Quick hitting snow will come through on that day. All right. So basically, possibly a big severe weather event tomorrow across southeastern parts of Texas. Let's review that real. All right, main risk for Thursday is going to be tornadoes. We have an enhanced risk basically from just around the northern Houston area to up to Lufkin. Enhanced risk there, slight risk on the outskirts of that, over towards southwestern parts of Louisiana, of course. And then we have a marginal risk all the way up to southeastern parts of Oklahoma, most of the eastern third of Texas and over towards Texarkana as well. So stay weather aware. Most of the you'll have some rain and thunder, a few thunderstorms in the morning. The main show comes afternoon in through eastern, southeastern parts of Texas, and then moving east as we go into tomorrow evening and into tomorrow night across Louisiana. Lots of rain into Louisiana, parts of southeastern Texas, and then over towards Georgia as we go throughout the weekend. 2 to 4 plus inches is possible of rain, upwards of locally 5 inches. Please stay safe out there. Have a way to get warnings, and please stay weather aware as we go into Thursday.